Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. A little bit of a different video today. I amn't on any wild adventures around the world. I am at home in London. I am just about to get the train to central London because I have an interview at the US Embassy for a B1B2 visa. So a B1B2 visa is like, I think the B1 is for like business, if you're going there for business, but like it's non-immigrant visa. So you're just going there just for business and you're going home again. And then I think the B2 is like tourist non-immigrant visa, which is the one that would apply to me. So I'm really nervous. I have all my paperwork and everything ready. I was doing all that yesterday. My appointment's at 9:30 and I haven't even ate anything today. I've not had breakfast. I just had a coffee because my stomach is like doing somersaults at the moment. I'm really nervous. So I just thought that I would bring you on the journey because I know that a lot of people may want information about this visa. So as I'm on my journey, I will explain how I applied to you. So let's go. So I applied on the official US government website. Like, I'm going to put the link for you. I just found the section where it says B1B2 visa and I filled out all my information. It will ask you like where you're staying, if you have an address that you're staying at while you're in the US. Now, I would advise not booking any trips until you know if you've got the visa or not, because if you don't get it, then your money's going to be gone down the drain. So it will ask you lots of information, then it will give you a date, and it can take quite a while to get a date. I've heard of people waiting a really long time for this, but I got a date within 2 months. So I booked for March, but after March, the next one was November. I'm not sure if they release other dates, but that was the only availability. And the only options was London, Belfast, and then obviously Dublin, because I have an Irish passport. So I'm going to the one in London. Somebody did tell me Manchester too, but I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on that. But you'll know when you apply because it will give you the options of where you want to go for the interview. I think some people don't have to go for an interview, but for me, I do have to go for the interview. And then once you have your date picked, I paid £180 for mine, and then it will give you a confirmation page. You print out this confirmation page, keep it really safe, keep all the application numbers and everything really safe, write them down. And that is how I applied. And I have just missed my train. It was right there. I was like, can I get on? The guy was like, no, sorry. So my next train isn't going to be for, I think, 15 minutes. I'm getting the train from a different station today near where my kids go to school. So I think that's why I think I've looked up the station near my house, which has more regular trains. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm just going to have to run. The train from this station takes like 25 minutes. So I think I'll be okay. I'm still going to have 35 minutes to get there. I just would like to be there a little bit early. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, well, Shauna, why didn't you apply for an ESTA visa? So I think one thing that people forget is that not everybody has a powerful passport. A lot of countries have very weak passports, and it can be very difficult for people from these countries to go to other countries, and very difficult to obtain visas. And I think people who have powerful passports just take for granted how lucky they are. You know, like, you can get visa on arrival, you can apply for ESTA visas, you don't have to go for interviews, you don't have to go to embassies. And a lot of countries have weak passports. I guess we don't like realise because we're not in the situation. And I am a massive fan of Yes Theory, their YouTube channel. I love them. And the guy on that, the Egyptian guy, I can't remember his name, but I remember watching their show about him and his Egyptian passport and how difficult it was for him to get visas. Sorry guys, what a noisy train that was. But he missed out on an awful lot of trips with the rest of the gang due to his passport and being ineligible to get visas to certain places. And that really made me realise how difficult it is for some people to get a visa. So that brings me to the part of my passport and my visa. So I have an Irish passport. I'm Irish. I was born in the Netherlands, but my parents are Irish. I grew up in Ireland. I'm Irish. Obviously I live in London now, but I still have an Irish passport. So yes, my country is eligible for an ESTA visa. But I have to take you back to this time 2 years ago. I had a trip planned to Chicago to my best friend Amy, and then I was going to New York to meet other friends, and my little son was coming with me. He was almost 2 at the time. We were super excited, and we got to Heathrow Airport and I was denied boarding the flight. So it was really embarrassing. It was really upsetting. It turns out my ESTA visa had been revoked the night before, and I had no idea of this. I didn't see the email. It came in at like 11 p.m. I was already in bed because we had to be up at 4 a.m. to go to Heathrow for our flight. So I didn't actually know until I got to the airport. So it was like really traumatic. I was emotional, I was crying, and yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling, but it took me a while to figure out what had happened. So when I filled out the ESTA visa, I had forgotten to do them, and I did them kind of last minute, which is another thing I would say. Do your ESTA visa in good time, and always do that also before you book any flights or accommodation, because you know, there sometimes you might not get it. Even if you have everything in order, they still might say no. So it's something that you need to do in advance, and it doesn't cost a lot of money, so I would definitely say it's something to do in advance. Anyway, I had filled it out really, really quickly. I said no to every single question. It brings up a couple of screens of questions, and I answered no to every single one of them because I had done the form before and I felt like I was aware of the questions, and I guess I wasn't being a little bit stupid, I was being completely stupid. And I thought, well, I have an Irish passport, I'm not a criminal. I have a powerful passport, I'm not a criminal, and none of these apply to me, which was stupid. And I know a lot of people who've gone to America on ESTA visas that have criminal records, that have been to jail. So I guess when you see those people travelling with ESTAs, and then there's me, I've never been in trouble in my life, I have an Irish passport, I'm like, oh well, none of this applies to me. So I clicked no to everything, and they were approved. Mine and my son's were approved. So when I heard it was revoked, I was shocked. But it turns out I've been to Iran. I spent 2 weeks there travelling a couple of years ago. I'm not into politics, I'm not into anything like that. I just want to see the world for what it is, like see people for who they are. I'm not into government and politics, I'm not into any of that. If I go see a country, I just want to see it for what it is. So I had been there, and I had also been to Cuba, spent like 3 weeks in Cuba, and Cuba is now also on the list of countries that you can no longer apply for an ESTA. So I stupidly filled out the form, said no to everything, and I still don't know the reason why, but I believe that these are the reasons why my ESTA was revoked and why I was denied boarding of the aircraft in Heathrow Airport. So I guess that's why I'm extra nervous today, because I'm going in and I have no idea what they're going to say to me. I don't know the exact reason why. I assume that's why, but I don't know why, and yeah, I'm pretty nervous. So yeah, there's multiple reasons why you might be ineligible for an ESTA, even if you have a powerful passport. Travelling to certain countries, criminal records, been in a gang, there's lots of reasons. Money laundering, drugs, like there's a really big list. But if you look at them, you'll know if you're eligible or not. And if you just go on the government website and look up the ESTA visa, you can see the countries that are eligible for an ESTA visa. So you'll know straight away if your passport is eligible for the ESTA visa or not. And if it's not, then you need to apply for this visa.
This is London Euston.
So I made it to London. Now I have to get the tube. I have to run like a mad woman. Okay, I've just arrived in the area where the embassy is. It's 9:17 and I've got a 7-minute walk, which I believe I can do in like 4 minutes if I'm running. I just want to be there a few minutes early. Oh my god, I'm so nervous, guys. Like, so nervous. My mouth is dry. My legs are shaking. Like, I'm really starting to just feel the nerves now. My hands are even a little bit shaky. So yeah, I'm gonna run. Okay guys, I've literally just arrived and there seems to be a big massive queue to get in. I think you need to like go through security, show your documents, everything. So I'm a little bit nervous now because I only have 10 minutes and there's a huge queue and I'm not going to be able to record, so this is it. Wish me luck. It's something important to note, you're not allowed to bring a laptop. It's prohibited, they won't store it in the embassy. So I'm going to a place now that's going to store it for me because I had to leave the queue. So I'm going to do that now and come back. And I'm going to let you know how it goes. Fingers crossed, guys. I got the visa. I cannot believe it. I am so happy. Oh my god, it was so nerve-wracking. It was a crazy experience. I'm just about to get on the train now to go home, so I'm going to let everything sink in because I feel like the last 3 hours have been an absolute roller coaster. Well, like 2.5 hours. It took a really long time. So I'm gonna, once I get home, I'm gonna tell you the whole experience, the process, how it went, and I will fill you in on everything. But I got it. So I am finally home. Please ignore my snuddy. I'm absolutely freezing from being standing outside the embassy in the cold, so I'm trying to warm myself up, so ignore the snuddy. But I have had loads of time on the train to like let everything sink in, let everything process, think about the whole morning that I had, so that I can explain to you guys the process that I went through. So I arrived 9:20. Instant panic. There was a gigantic queue. And I thought, okay, great, I'm going to miss my appointment because this queue was so long. I was trying to look at the paperwork. I'm thinking, did it tell me arrive half an hour early? I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, there was a guy in front of me in the queue and his appointment was at 9 and he was still in the queue and this was 9:20. So they did say, like, don't panic, you're here once you're in the queue, it's fine. So I would advise getting there early if you don't want to panic, but if you do get there at the time of your appointment and there is a massive queue, don't panic, you're there on time, don't worry. The queue was massive. I can't say it's going to be massive in every other country, but it was massive in the embassy in London, which is understandable because it's London, so it's, you know, a big city. First queue was for checking in, so you need to print off your confirmation, which is this page, and you need to have your passport. And it also said to bring a printed copy of like confirming your appointment, time and date. I didn't have this, but I did have it on my phone, so but I would probably print it just to be sure, but they didn't ask me for it. Anyway, you get to check in, you give in your passport with those documents. I gave them in, the guy signed the bottom of it to show that I was checked in. Then you join the other queue, which is queue for security. Halfway through the queue, I seen a sign saying no laptops. I had my laptop because I had work in the afternoon. So I asked some other guy that was like working there, and he said that there was a coffee shop across the road which took in the laptops. Or took in bags, like they'll like mind your bag for you. So I ran down there with another girl from the queue. We gave in our bags with our laptops, everything. I just gave in the whole bag. Once I had my phone and my documents, that's all I needed. So we gave it in there, we paid £8, they watched our bag. So just be mindful when you're going to this interview, bring the bare minimum. I would bring your folder with your documents, bring your phone obviously, because you're probably going to want to have your phone, and just try not to bring anything else. Like, the less you have, the less stressing you're going to be and the less worried you're going to be. So bring the bare minimum. So that you don't have to go to a coffee shop and pay £8 for them to mind your bag, you know. So I got back into the queue, went through security, into the embassy, straight to the main desk. That lady takes your documents again. She will give you a yellow slip to go to level 1, stage 1. So stage 1 is just like, I guess, an initial chat, queued for about maybe bones of 25 minutes, and then they call you to the window. You give in your documents again. And the lady asked me, was it business or tourism? I told her it was tourism. She asked me why I wasn't travelling on an ESTA. I explained to her that I had an ESTA denied. And she asked me for my passport photos. So if you are going for this visa, the pictures for an American visa are different to the size of a passport. So if you look at these, you can see how much bigger they are. Like they're quite bigger. They're way more square. So I wouldn't have known this only for the guy in the Photoshop that took them for me, and they were more expensive to get them done that way. I was probably going to try print them myself, so it's a good job. So like, look, you can see these ones that he didn't cut out, and it says US visa. So just bear that in mind for your passport photos, and you do need to bring a passport photo. I did see that there was a passport photo booth there on the floor where I spoke to that lady. But just to be sure and to make it less stressful, bring this and make sure you have your stuff printed, because that guy in the queue in front of me had to go and print documents. Can you imagine being in the stress of all that and now you have to go print documents? So just be prepared. So I gave her my passport photo. She gave it back. She gave it back to me again. I think they take a scan of it. And she gave it back to me again, and she gave me a pink ticket for stage 2. I go to stage 2. And I probably queued for 5 minutes there, and then it was time to get my fingerprints done. I gave the lady in all the documents again. She scanned them all again. We did our fingerprints. My hand was shaking so much. Anyway, I did it. And then she gave me back my documents, and she gave me a green ticket to go for stage 3, which is the interview. So I go to that queue. I probably was in that queue maybe 15 minutes. And this is where I started to get really, 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 really nervous. Like, my hands were shaking. My mouth was dry. I had a lump in my throat. My legs were shaking. I don't know why I was getting so nervous. And I know you're probably thinking, why didn't I try sort this out 2 years ago? Why did I wait 2 whole years to sort this out? And the reason is because when it happened 2 years ago, I was so upset over it. Like, I was so emotional, I couldn't stop crying. And then I think I had like a little bit of anger for a little while. I was like, why did this happen to me? Or, you know, whatever. And then I had gone on a holiday somewhere else, and, you know, I was putting my money towards saving for that. And then I was pregnant, and I obviously spent a long time being pregnant. And then I had the baby. So I had kind of put it on the back burner for a while. And when January came this year, January 2025, I said, that's it. I'm going to make up my goal to sort this out this year. So start of January, I went on and I made my appointment. And I'm glad now that I waited 2 years, because it gave me time to like process everything, and it gave me time to like deal with the situation. That even if I had gotten a no today, like, no, sorry, we're not going to approve your visa, I would have dealt with it. I wouldn't have been crying like a baby. I wouldn't have been, why me? I wouldn't. I would have had a good attitude about it, and I'd have been like, it is what it is, and I would have accepted it. Yes or no, I was able to deal with the situation. Had I gone 2 years ago to start it, I don't think I'd have been able to deal with the situation. And I'm just glad that I waited 2 years to do it. So that's the reason why I didn't do it sooner. But anyway, back to the interview. I got called up. I probably waited there 15 minutes. I got called up, handed in my documents again, everything. Obviously not the passport photo, because I had already given that in the first stage. Hands everything in. He asked me what was the purpose of my travel. I said travelling, not business travel. He asked me why I wasn't travelling on an ESTA. I explained to him why that I had an ESTA denied, and the reasons why I assumed that it had been denied, and I apologised that I had made an error on the form, etc, etc. So he went away typing. He came back to me again. He asked me what my job was. I told him my job. He typed again for what felt like 15 minutes, but it was actually like probably a minute or 2 minutes. And then he just handed me back my paperwork, and he said, your visa's been approved, you'll have it in a week. And I didn't even hear what he was saying, because I was so nervous. My ears were like shut. Like, I wasn't even listening because I was so nervous, but it was only when I seen him taking my, like, the passport was in front of him and he like put it over here somewhere, I realised I wasn't getting my passport back, and I realised that my visa had been approved, because had it not, he would have given me back my passport. So 1 week and I will have my visa, and I said thank you very much, have a lovely day, and that was it. And I took a big sigh of relief and I walked out of that building like the happiest girl in the world. I was like, yes, thank you. I was just so relieved that it was over, because I really worked myself up. I was looking around, I didn't see anybody to be like as nervous as me, but I guess everybody's there for a different reason. Everybody's there for a different visa. We're not all there for the same visa. We're not all there for the same reasons. We're all from different countries. So everybody's case is different. And I did see people like leaving with their passport again, so that means they didn't get their visa, but you know, additional paperwork could have been required. There's so many different reasons. Every single case is different. And yes, the last stage was quite nerve-wracking because the officers are quite serious, but I guess, you know, this is their country, they're protecting their borders, and they have to be serious. That's their job. They're not going to be like laughing and joking. This is a serious job and they're going to be serious with you. So, you know, I think you just need to bear that in mind, because, you know, I'm sure some people will be like, oh, a bit rude. You know, no, they're literally doing their job. This is their job. This is how they're supposed to be. So that was the process. And that was it. So from start to finish, from 9:20 to 11. So I reckon you need to give yourself like an hour and a half for the whole thing. The guy beside me in the queue did say that he'd heard it took an hour and a half, and he was kind of spot on with that. So just to recap, if you are going for the interview, passport photos, the correct size. Look, I don't know, I'm sure maybe people there just brought ordinary passport photos. Had I had one lying around the house, which I usually do, I would have probably just brought that one. I didn't see anybody like being sent away for having the wrong size photo, but there was a photo booth in the building, which I guess you can use. However, I would say, just for the lack of stress, bring your photo and get the right size. Bring your confirmation page, have everything printed, have everything like in a folder ready to go, because when you get to the desk, they'll keep asking you for the same documents, so you need to have them all ready. Be there early. Don't panic if you're in the queue and it comes to your appointment time. It's okay. Do not bring a glass bottle. Do not bring a laptop. I can't remember what else was on the list of like prohibited items, but bring the bare minimum. Don't be bringing around the kitchen sink. Just bring what you need. And just, yeah, be prepared. And that is all my advice. So 1 week, and I will have my passport back with my visa. I have to go to London to collect it. That's the next thing I will say. The guy beside me in the queue, his visa was being couriered, so he will get his passport delivered to his house. I believe you could pay for this. I don't think I got offered this option when I applied. I can't really remember, but I did get an email just last week to say that I was now eligible for the courier. So I think maybe initially I wasn't, but in the end I was. But I didn't want to accept the offer or like go messing with anything, because I just felt like I had, everything was fine as it was. I'm not far. I'll jump on the train. I'll pick up the visa. So I didn't get the courier service, but I think some people are eligible for the courier service if you want to pay. So that saves you having to go to pick it up. You don't pick it up from the embassy. You pick it up from a different location. But I will put that in the next part of the video when I go to pick it up. So that's it. I got the visa. I'm so relieved. And I'm really glad that it's done now and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I will bring you with me to pick it up. Check back in a week. It has been 10 days since I had my interview, and I am just back in central London to pick up my passport with the visa in it. It has... The visa actually got to the collection point on Monday, so it got processed really, really quickly, less than 7 days. Obviously it's different for every location and every embassy, but here in London that's how quick mine took, and I'm sure it's different for every application also, but it's been there since Monday, and I didn't realise they sent me the email to say that the courier had it and that I'd be notified once it had been delivered. So I thought that I still had to wait for the email to say it had been delivered to the location where it needed to be collected. And then yesterday I kind of got a little bit concerned because the tracking number wasn't working, so I phoned the embassy and they explained that once I got that email, because mine wasn't actually a courier service, it was being collected, that meant that once I received that email my passport was available to be collected, and I didn't realise that. So it's actually been here since Monday and today is Friday, but it's okay. So I'm just here now to pick it up and excited to finally get my passport back and have my visa. Where are we?
We're here to get the big stamp from the big stamp passport, and that's a big stamp.
So where are we going to go with the big stamp and Mommy's passport?
New York City.
New York City, baby. Just out, very smooth process. There was a queue to get in, but it was really efficient. You just go in, give your passport number, the guy tells you stand to the side and wait for 5 minutes while they go get your passport, come back, show them ID, and then you get your passport back, and my visa's in it for 10 years. So I'm really happy. I did see one girl drop in her passport, and basically I think when she went for the interview she was going on holiday a couple of days later and she needed her passport. So if that happens, because that I did think about that, you are able to go on your trip, come back, you drop your passport to this place, they get it to the embassy, your visa's processed, and then it comes back to this place again and you pick it up. So it was really easy process, and that's it. I have my visa. This right here is the place where I picked the passport up from. It is in Holborn, and yeah, so that was my visa process from start to finish. I hope this video helps anybody who needs more information about the visa or who may be applying for the visa. I really hope it helps, and best of luck to anybody applying.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
Bye!